Hey guys, James here again from Metric Reviews, and today we are doing a review of a pistol that I've actually owned this for a few years now and just completely forgot to review it. A bit rude really, but it's the Umarex Walther CP99. Now this is a replica of the incredibly iconic Walther P99 pistol, which came to fame in like the James Bond films, you know, World's Not Enough, and so on, more sort of the Pierce Brosnan era. And yeah, it's an incredibly iconic pistol. Now I've gone for a slightly unusual looking flat dark earth version. You can see it's completely different to the normal black version, but I liked the colour. It kind of stood out as something a bit different. I've got loads of black pistols, so yeah, the FDE seemed like the one to go for. Now as you'll see, the pistol, obviously being a licensed replica made by Umarex, has got all of the Walther markings on, so you've got Walther on both sides of the front and CP99 as well. Now apart from that, there isn't really much marking. You don't have "this is not a toy" in big white letters or anything like that. But as you move back, you do have the stippling on the back here with Walther on the bottom of the grips as well. Now on the bottom of the magazine it also has Walther, and what I really like about the magazine, which we'll go on to in a moment, is that it doesn't show any sort of CO2 tabs. If you had that in a holster, it would just look like a normal magazine. So yeah, realism wise, I quite like that. Now let's look at the features. Being a pellet firing pistol, it uses Umarex's 8-shot rotary magazine system. If you've used any of their other series, the Berettas, any of the other Walthers, the CP88s, all of those, you'll know exactly what I mean here. But to get to where the housing goes, basically, you push down what would be your slide release catch, and the front portion of this slide, or kind of what would be your slide, moves forward. Placing the magazine in, really simple. You just push it in so it's centered. It will just hold itself. You just have to drop it in. As long as the pellets are firing the right way, it will seat itself without too many problems. And then obviously without covering the front of your muzzle, if you had pellets in here, grip the sides and bring the slide back to the rear. Now this section of the slide does have a purpose as well. Obviously it doesn't come forward or blow back or anything like that. But if you are firing, obviously you've got quite a heavy double action trigger. If double action isn't your thing, what you can do is obviously just grip this section here, cock the rear portion of the slide to the back, and your trigger is now in single action, which gives a really fine, crisp sort of trigger. Now for the shooting portion of the test that we will go into in a moment, we will be using single action for all of the shots taken, but we'll get to that in a moment. Now CO2 wise, it uses quite an ingenious method. Now it's quite popular and quite widely used in a few of the Umarex pistols, but if we use this really neat little magazine drop release catch, it reveals this full-size dropout magazine. Now this magazine will only hold the 12 gram CO2. It's got no facilities in it to hold any BBs or pellets or anything. This is purely a method of housing the CO2. But you put the CO2 in, tighten the capsule brass null on the bottom, and then just tighten and twist the bottom back across, and then once you're done with that, you put your CO2 into the gun, make sure it's seated correctly, and you are good to go. Now one thing I really do like with this pistol is if you are using it on single action and you decide, right, actually I don't want to shoot anymore, drop the magazine out, put that in my pocket, get the actual rotary magazine out, put that in your pocket, you're now left with a gun with all the springs to the rear. Now if you don't want to just squeeze the action off like so, what you can do is use this decocking button on the top, and with my finger nowhere near the trigger, you'll see it return to its resting position. And that's a really neat feature. I quite like it. If you've got it in single action and you think, actually no, I want to challenge myself, let's put it in double action, even when it's loaded, it doesn't index the rotary magazine around, it's just purely actuating the trigger. So from here, no change in your shooting position, just push the button, job done. Now one thing I am quite fond of, and we will go back into later in the conclusion, is the safety catch. Now this is the main difference with the real Walther. If you look at a normal CP or P99, you do not have the safety catch on the side of the gun. However, Umarex, for safety's sake, have included this really easy to use safety. Now if we're firing like so, and I decide actually I want to put it on safe, slide the bar forward, and as you'll see, it covers the red dot and reveals the safe button here. No, it's a good visual reference. You know when you're in safe mode. Now you cannot bring this safety catch back by accident. You can see there's a little kind of pivot bar in the bottom here. You have to push this in to release the safety to the rear, and then obviously removing the safety back, it exposes the red dot to put it on fire. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to load up the rotary magazines. I won't show you how to do it, you all know how to do it, it's really easy to do. And obviously load the CO2 in as well. And let's take a couple of shots. Now we will do an 8-shot group. I'm going to pace it out to sort of about, well, probably around 6 feet, I reckon, be a sensible distance. These pistols are capable of really good accuracy. Me personally as a pistol shooter, not so much. So, I mean, it's not a competition spec gun as such. You can polish them off, and people do use them for like the Umarex Boys Clubs competitions. I've used my CP88 before, which is a blooming good pistol. If you haven't checked the review out for that, go and have a look. In fact, I might redo that one because I don't think it does the pistol justice. But you know, as I say, this is more a test of my ability as well as the pistol. But yeah, let's crack on, let's have some fun, and let's see what groupings we can get. Okay, so that was the results of 8 shots. As I say, a lot of that will be down to my shooting, but yeah, I'd be happy enough with that. If you're just plinking cans at home, or if you do actually want to kind of hone in your skills, it's certainly a good place to start. So, as I say, not the best pistol shooter in the world, but fairly happy with that. So what we'll do, move in, sort of final thoughts, conclusion, and yeah, we'll go from there. Now that's me pretty much all done with the CP99. Hopefully you've enjoyed the review, seen, you know, a little bit more information about this pistol. Now this is one of my favourite pistols to get out of the locker. I'm amazed I haven't covered it on the channel before, to be completely honest. Now if you want a really top-end, high-quality pistol that is made to last, you really can't go too far wrong with a CP99. Now obviously if flat dark earth isn't your cup of tea, it does come in black. I'm pretty certain they do a pink version if that's your kind of thing, and they do a white, kind of looks like a stormtrooper gun as well. You can go on their website. I'll put a link in the description below to Umarex's website, both the American and the German site, or the European site, depending on where you're watching us from. And yeah, as I say, if you're after a really nice high quality pistol, yes, they are not cheap, but if you want quality, sometimes you do actually have to pay out for it. Then look at the CP99. Realism wise, for a collector's point of view, the markings on point. Feel, I mean, the grip, I haven't really given this enough credit. Walther's design obviously rather than Umarex, but the grip is by far the most ergonomic grip I've ever come across. It's on par with the PPQ, which obviously took its styling from the P99, and yeah, my first ever BB firing gun was a P99, an old black KWC thing, made by Cybergun. I mean, you look at it now, it's probably, what am I now? It's probably about 15 years old or so. It's an old gun, but that was my first gun, and I still kept it. It's slightly broken, but I've still kept it because it's my favourite. And that's why I bought this one, because I wanted another Walther. And yeah, I regret it not in the slightest. Superb pistol, can't really fault it. Bought into the UK from Armex, so if your local RFD has got an account with Armex, they can get one of these in for you, no problem at all. Obviously, if you make sure it's an official import, you do get the warranty, the support from Armex. It's worth just mentioning that. Some places will bring in Umarex guns as grey imports, and yeah, you won't get the same support from them. So make sure it's coming from an Armex distributor if you're in the UK, and yeah. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching. If you want to see more pictures of this, any more video, anything like that, feel free to check out our Facebook page. I've got an album over there for that. Obviously, if you want to see what else is coming up from us, feel free to subscribe in the box below. We've got plenty more coming up in the coming weeks, coming months. And obviously, if you've got any questions, any comments, feel free to post those in the box below. But anyway, until our next video, guys, thanks very much for watching. Wolfing. This was the Walther CP99, and we will see you next time.